You're ready for the SwissBorg battle contest? Yeah!
Hi. And I'm not the wife.
Hello everybody, how's everything going? Hello everybody, woo!
Hello everyone, I'm Anthony, this is Marco.
This is the SwissBorg team. We will go to the end of the mountain and we will make it. Despite all these difficulties and snow, we will proceed and we will make it.
First though, we have to ask the big question, what is SwissBorg?
I have no clue.
SwissBorg.
SwissBorg is the new era of crypto wealth management.
Imagine a world where private banking is accessible to everyone.
Hey guys, I hope you're doing well and that you're enjoying the last day of our ACO.
Who here was shocked recently based on Ethereum's price drop? In terms of SwissBorg, the CHSB token, we also experienced a huge drop. As a matter of fact, Ethereum in its peak compared to the price now dropped 89%. And when we ICO'd earlier this year in January, we experienced the biggest bubble burst in the crypto space. Now I'm gonna be honest with you guys. When I kicked off with SwissBorg, knowing that my little brother was a co-founder and worked so hard.
Power, yo yippee, yay guys. This is Power Dio number 4, number 15, number 46. This is one of the most beautiful day I ever had.
I was really emotionally attached to the project. I didn't know if he would succeed or not, to be very honest. But what I did know is, no matter what, I would be there until the last second. I would do my very best for the love of my brother. The future is bright. The future is bright, my friends.
We will have the BTC and the BNB yield coming. There is key component that will make you succeed. Hard work, dedication, and focus. Focus is very important because focus is about choosing an objective and making sure that your entire team is aligned with this objective. That will make your success.
Welcome everyone to our Q3 AMA. It's live from London. It's such a special experience to be here. I'm so happy to see so many faces in person and my first AMA. I'm Christina. If no one has met me before, we've now met in person and now live, streaming on YouTube. I'm a relationship manager and part of the community success team. We have some familiar faces as well as some new faces on our panel. We have Alex, our Chief Partnership Officer. We have Jackie, Head of Marketing, and Cyrus, our CEO, and Anthony, our CSO, and a new face, Jillian, who's our Engineering Manager. So a nice welcome to have them here and speak about some things of SwissBorg on this AMA. If you guys don't already have the Engine Wallet or app, we're going to have some giveaways. Please make sure you have it ready to go. This slide will come up when you least expect it, and it's 5 seconds. So be excited for that, and have it ready to go. Have it ready to fire. What you can win. We have 5,000 people watching this AMA win a Q3 NFT. There's a few select gold and silver, so you might be one of those lucky few to have those 2 exclusives with only 100 of those going around. Okay, to kick this off, challenges. Q3 challenges with SwissBorg. Well, let's get started. Compliance. Now, most of you, all of you know what compliance is. You've done level 1, 2, and hopefully 3. We've had to scale. We've had to scale our operations to be able to manage 500,000 users, which is incredible. But we've done it, and part of our support teams and also relationship managers, such as myself, are assisting with those users that need help in that. And then we also, have to, sorry, go back one, just to touch on a couple points here. When you have high-risk, issues within compliance, then we've also swiftly taken care of that, as you can see on the graph, and as well using integrative tools such as OnFido, and made that a little bit easier with the flow of things to optimize that.
Is it working? Okay, guys, I think before we specifically dive into the Fireblocks migration, I think it's very important to remind that we live in a space where there is so much innovation, and every day we are bombarded with new information, and it's amazing. It's a source of motivation. It's an unlimited source of motivation that comes every day. But what does it create as well is strong expectation from the community and from the people around, even in the team, even between ourselves. The very founders, the very first member of SwissBorg, I can tell you every day, there is not a single day that Alex or Cyrus is calling me with a new idea and say, hey, have you checked this? Have you checked that? And etc. It's really part of being inspired and being motivated to keep the innovation. The reality is as well, when you deliver a roadmap, you face challenges. They are not the most exciting one, such as compliance. Fireblocks is another one, and usually in AMA, because we want to share the love we have for this space that innovates so much and put the pressure on the traditional system so much that hopefully one day the blockchain reality will become the reality of everyone. Well, no one will be feared to innovate. Yet, despite the love we have, we face challenges that are, let's say, more boring to explain. But what we decide today is to come up as well in this AMA and to talk first about the reality of the challenge of operating a startup such as SwissBorg that has almost 500,000 users, has almost 200 employees, and where, yes, every day when we develop, there is at least 50% of our job that is extremely difficult to see, but is still required to operate and to get to the next dream. So Christina introduced compliance. That was one of our biggest challenges this year. How can we make sure that 500,000 users can be recognized compliantly in the app? And we've seen all the trouble with Binance and all the other guy, but because we want to innovate at the pace, at the responsible pace, as we like to say, that was one of the challenges. And of course, we're not going to come and say, next innovation is about onboarding 500,000 users with a compliant manner, because it's not very exciting, but the reality is it is part of our challenges every day. Another challenge that we had to face is, as you probably know, we've been ambassador of MPC technology, which is one of the most advanced technology when it comes to the storage of crypto assets. And as you know, our mission is wealth management, and wealth management always comes with the notion of being secure, being safe, and build a system that in first place will protect your assets. And when we decide to become one of the first ambassadors of the MPC technology, we decide to partner with Curve. That was one of the most advanced startups you can find back in the days. And unfortunately for them, because the technology was so great, and we've done a very good due diligence process in selecting them as a partner, they have been acquired 6 months ago by PayPal. And as you know, PayPal is not a B2B company, it's a B2C company. So they have decided to stop the partnership with SwissBorg, and they'll give us 6 months or 9 months to actually find another partner. And that was part of one of the biggest, let's say, work that we had to do during the past 6 months at SwissBorg was the migration from Curve, that it was our partner when it comes to the storage of the crypto assets, to Fireblocks. So I'm not going to give you all the details, but I can tell you we're very proud for this partnership, because not only it is another very good MPC solution that exists in the market, and actually back in the days when we launched the WellFab, it was the main contender with Curve. And now we're back with Fireblocks, and we are very pumped to have Fireblocks with us, because they are creating as well. They have progressed so much as a startup, and it will allow us to release in the app more and more coin that will be on layer 1, which means Cardano and all this coin, will be much more easier for us to go much faster with releasing these coins. Yeah.
You could feel the passion. You could feel the passion.
So one other challenge that we had to face, and it's actually quite a good challenge to have, it's about scaling up in an organization. So in order to be as competitive as possible, we work very hard to try and double the size of the team pretty much every year at the moment. So that means that the team is actually evolving constantly. All the new point of equilibrium needs to be found after every new hire. We have to discover and remove new bottlenecks in the teams that we create every time someone joins a new team. And at the same time, we need to look for new talents over and over again. So as managers, we really do our best to at the same time leverage our current teams, but on the other hand, make sure that they are prepared and that we shape them so that they can keep scaling up. So we feel like the moment you start feeling that you are really like the best at what you can do, it is the point where you are not ready for the next iteration. So it's a constant game of balance, and I feel like we are getting better and better at this. So yeah, Alex, you have more to say about scaling?
So guys, we all had some really nice intros earlier, an icebreaker where we talked about, I hope that the SwissBorg token price will double and triple. And then obviously there are lots of frustrations coming, we can see, especially for people who came and joined SwissBorg a little bit later this year, right? And there's some people who've really experienced the pain from, the very, very early days. We're talking about 2018, you guys saw the video. And I just wanted to share something with you to be very honest, life is not always super easy, guys, just to be very open and transparent. We've had many difficulties, and obviously scaling as a company, if we were all on the same adventure, all of you guys who joined us in 2017, 2018, we're on a raft, right? We're on a little raft with a few people, and as the price of the token was going down, as the bubble bursted, people jump off the raft, they abandoned the raft, and a few people stayed. And we really appreciate all the love for those who endured and had the patience to stay with us despite the very difficult conditions. But that raft eventually became a sailorboat, right? And then the sailorboat became a cruise boat. And one thing that the world does not see that I really want to share with you that a lot of you told me about earlier today is when you're scaling a company, there are many difficulties. It's not just having fun. It's not just having 200 employees. The people who are there on the raft in the early days burn out. So they work 3-4 years in a row, taking very little vacation, always under pressure, scaling to 200 employees, scaling to 500,000 users. And this is something we haven't really shared with you guys up to now, but we really need to. and have an honest conversation that it's not easy. We've suffered, people burn out, they get sick, they leave the company, their heart is there, their mind is out, and they go into depression. And there are many things that could lead into these cycles, especially exponential cycles. There's always a cool-off period where we need to make sure that people who are with us from the early days, rather than trying to replace them, we make them happy. We ensure they can take a vacation this summer, including myself, by the way, guys. I took my first 12-day vacation this summer in 4 years. Woo! Wow, that felt so good. That felt so good. As Cyrus was saying, we've aged probably, our life expectancy has dropped by 25 years in the past 5. So, but I just really wanted you guys to realize that it's not all fun. There's some hardships, but we're doing our best to make sure that the people who have been loyal to us from day one are still with us, that we do not need to rehire, retrain, and go through these things. And these are the reasons why we had this beautiful retreat where the family could reconnect, re-fall in love with a culture, take a well-deserved vacation, and that perhaps is some of the reasons why there is a slowdown. There are periods of cool-off that eventually go back up exponentially. So just wanted to be super honest with you guys, and hopefully you understand that there are a lot of hardships, and we're still trying to do our best on a day-to-day basis.
Great.
So now we've covered some of the Q3 challenges, but what about the results from the last quarter? And it's been an interesting time because even though the crypto market wasn't doing as well as we might have liked, there have still been some pretty exciting milestones we've hit at SwissBorg. So if we go to the next slide. The first one, which I think is really exciting, is that we have fewer than 200 million CHSB left in our circulating supply. So in our ICO, we minted 1 billion CHSB tokens, and to date, we've burnt about 8.5 million of them. I think there's around 172, 173 million that are staked by people who have premium accounts. And there's about 340-ish million that are in the CHSB yield program. So what that means is around 180 million are left in circulating supply. And as we continue to add more utilities and more benefits to CHSB, we're hoping there's going to be a bit of a bidding war for those remaining tokens. And over time, that means the price is going to go up. Now, who would like to talk about the CHSB yield program?
Okay, so I'm pretty sure during this AMA we're going to talk more about this HSB, but yeah, I think one of the most successful programs we have launched since the beginning of the Wealth app is the ability for any user to stake their HSB. And as a matter of fact, we have most of the users that never unstake their HSB, and this is how loyal you are, guys, and thank you very much. It's really a beautiful commitment you have to our mission, and it's very heartwarming. Next.
Well, the 30 million, I think so. That's one of the greatest one as well, because we're not only here for obviously the Shikling, but I think so at the end, wealth management. There's multiple different phases, and acquiring and being able to invest in products that actually give you dividends and pay dividends. I think so. The yield has been the big chapter, I think so, for 2021, and 30 million earned dollars. That's really, I think so, something that we should be proud of. And what else is really exciting? It's Bitfinex, isn't it?
Yeah, Bitfinex. In August, we've been listed in Bitfinex. Our beloved CHSB was finally listed, and it's huge for the community because, well, the more people have access to CHSB, the higher the value on the market, obviously. But also from a technical point of view, it also makes us much more resilient. Before, when HitBTC had a hiccup, CHSB was trading down, whereas now we have some backup where we're not only on one platform at the same time. So that's obviously cool. It also shows us the way, because being listed on the tier 1 platform like exchange like Bitfinex unlocks a lot of doors for us in the future. And finally, with the integration in the Wealth app, it means more token listings and better prices for everyone. So clearly, this is one of the biggest news for us this year.
Another figure that I think we're all pretty excited about is our premium users, 20,000. It's pretty exciting. This is just really encouraging, not only for us, but for our community members, that this is faith in what we're doing here, and it's loyalty. So it's something that's really exciting to see, and hopefully we see grow and grow more as time goes on.
And last but not least, I think so. We all sold the idea right in our white paper, which is to democratize crypto wealth management by making it fun, fair, and community-centric. Tonight looks like we're making it fun, thanks to you guys, fair as well. But democratizing, I think so, and bringing this community to grow, I think so. You know, we have today a very big amount of people who are on the app, and I think so. Hopefully, we'll get to 1 million in the next quarter. That'll be really awesome. And thank you so much again for the trust for this.
Yeah, so much technical. I don't know if okay. Good. So what about the release? So what did we do in Q3? So obviously, we keep going with listing more token, and obviously you guys like it. We release more and more as well yield in the wealth app. I think something that was very important as well for us, because not only we were very exciting to, after a very, very long wait, we were very excited to release the Crypto Challenge, which is the new version of the community app.
Maybe one question here, by the way, guys. Raise your hand, whoever is Hall of Famer of the community app.
Ooh.
Few people. Well done for that. Congrats.
But I think as well, sometimes it's not all about rushing in one roadmap, but it's about releasing features that help you to carry your message to a broader audience, in a sense, right? And we want to make wealth management and investment more accessible, more fun, more community-centric. And I think one of the biggest challenge we face is not only that traditional investment is boring, but as well that in many cases, no one really dare to invest in traditional market because most of the time they've been told they are not either knowledgeable enough or not intelligent enough to invest. And is it true or is it wrong? It's very difficult to answer this question, but I do believe personally that it is just how the system take advantage of you by inserting in your head that you're not intelligent enough or you're not capable enough to take your own destiny in charge. And one of the goals of the Crypto Challenge, besides being fun, giving some user the first experience with Bitcoin, is to give them the confidence that yes, it's not that easy, it's not that difficult to invest actually. Only what it takes is an opinion. Is it going to go up or is it going to go down? It seems, very easy, but one of the main goals of the Crypto Challenge was to carry out this message that you are capable, and that's the broader message, I think, of crypto in general. Yes, you are capable to take care of your future. It's one of the biggest achievements because we have two apps. I don't think there is many companies that have two apps running at the same time, and both of them are quite successful when we look at the retention rate, and it was one of the biggest achievements in Q3. Anything else that you see as the biggest achievement?
No, I think so. That's pretty much it. And obviously Bitfinex and bringing more yield into the platform, it's always greater to have more tokens. And let's go to the next slide, if we may. So meet the CHSB SwissBorg token. Obviously here everyone knows it. I'm pretty sure everyone knows it on YouTube as well. What's the big thing behind it? We always said that SwissBorg token would be the heart of the SwissBorg ecosystem, right? We never knew what are going to be the utilities and how much utilities it's going to bring. And that's why we always said, okay, let's try to think how is the best way to protect our SwissBorg token, and even more how we can nurture it and grow it and bring in more features day by day by adding new products, by adding new services, and really making sure it's really the center of the SwissBorg ecosystem. So we're not going to run through the whole thing, but we could see here clearly that we always has our main strategy was to bring more and more community users to get into the ecosystem, right? And by getting into the ecosystem is downloading the app. More importantly is then understanding the values that we have behind our mission, and then getting to be premium. Pretty much here, everyone is premium, community premium, or Genesis premium. Raise your hands. Yeah, that's super cool. Everyone's pretty much. And you know what it is, right? It gives you great powers. You had crazy yields last summer. Now a little bit less today. Insane again with BNB, and a little bit less on USDC. But as well, still growing a lot on the CHSB token. And just here, just to make it clear, the idea is always to increase the demand, fuel the demand and more, and eventually how we could decrease the supply. Decrease the supply by burning some tokens, like we likely do, and by protecting it whenever we have to do. Anthony, do you want to share something more regarding this?
Yeah, I think we touched this subject last time at the last AMA, but what we do as well is by creating more and more utility to the CHSB, we onboard a broader community, and it feeds again this virtual cycle of creating, because essentially when we say it's increasing demand and decreasing supply, it's just that in a nutshell, we create a broader audience for the CHSB, and this is how the CHSB, as a result, will increase in price, just mechanically. And any action in the wealth app, you have to truly understand that what is very special at SwissBorg is we're not VC-backed. We never receive external investing from different companies that can then inject their own, let's say, point of view in the company. We are 100% community-centric, community-owned in a sense, and all the value that we create ever goes to the CHSB. That is the instant value, which means the revenue that we make in the wealth app, 20% is used to go back on the market and make the supply less and less. But the 80% goes back to the development that we expect in return will create more value for the future. So everything that we do is anyway an investment toward a brighter CHSB. And this is what we try to express here with a beautiful visual. I've seen on Telegram, people were amazed by the visual, but essentially you have to be confident that every value that we create will not instantly materialize in the price. But as long as we keep going with creating values and revenue within the app, it will reflect eventually in the CHSB. And that's what we try to give here as a picture.
And it's always as well, I mean, obviously with SwissBorg Nation, we're talking about after, to bring more utilities, but yourself as well. Whenever you feel that there's something to be added to the SwissBorg token and maybe new ideas, I mean, I listen to every idea. I read probably all the comments that ever happened on the YouTubes, on the Twitter as well, and a lot of bright ideas come from yourself. I mean, that's something that you have to be really proud of, is like a lot of the ideas really come. And, you know, coming back to that, I think so one of the best idea was the community premium. And I really want to thank all of you guys if people have thought about that. You know, we wanted to do that premium plus, which was fucking stupid, by the way, but that was not my idea, just to put it clear. Anyways, we thought, you know, it would be a new, like, Genesis Premium, will be even a better one, but there's no better than Genesis Premium, to be honest, as we speak. So when then we went on this powwow, and I started talking, I got bashed, and everyone was like, what the fuck, you guys? How can you think about doing a Genesis Premium? It's all about the community. How can you afford 100,000 or plus SwissBorg tokens? That's almost 100,000 quid. Anyways, long story short, whatever we are, you know, we're thinking about doing things, we always try to make sure that it's validated by yourself, or more importantly, comes actually from you guys. So I really want to thank about that, and yeah, make sure that our CHSB is very bright.
Speaking of validating things by the community, the SwissBorg National Council was something we created because we wanted to give our community members a way to contribute to SwissBorg in an even bigger way than they had before. So can we go to the next slide? So the goal was to create a council of 200 members of the community that represented different segments of our community members. So we started in March with our 50 largest CHSB token holders. Then we added our 30 biggest DAO members. And at the moment, we're in the process of recruiting 30 different SwissBorg employees to join the council. Now, the next two cohorts coming up are quite exciting because one of the things I'm sure everyone in this room has noticed and everyone on YouTube has noticed is that crypto is male dominated. And if I look at the audience in front of me, we've probably got less than 5% of the people at this event are women. So how do we address this? And we've been brainstorming this a bit in SwissBorg because obviously we want to bring more women into crypto. We want to have everyone in the world using crypto. We don't want just 50% of the population taking part in the future of finance. And the problem we had was that any metric we used to segment our existing community was always going to be male dominated because the community is male dominated. So because of this, we decided to make the next cohort 35 women in the SwissBorg community who will be onboarding by the end of the year. And then the final... Woo! And then the fifth and final cohort, we're actually working with the existing members of the SwissBorg National Council to figure out who would be the best match to join the council. So beyond the composition of the council, Q3 was also when we had our first vote. So if we go to the next slide. So one of the privileges you get as a member of the National Council is that you can propose initiatives that you think SwissBorg should be working on and that we will add to the roadmap. So I think we had 15 to 17 different initiatives proposed. These were then reviewed by an internal team at SwissBorg, and we selected these 3 as the final ones. They were the SwissBorg Charity Fund. So the idea of this was having a mechanism that would encourage the community to give back while they were investing using our products. The next option was a SwissBorg Token Encyclopedia. Now the pitch for this was having a better coin market cap, something that lived on the SwissBorg website that purely focused on the tokens we have in our app and gives a lot more information on the fundamentals and why someone might consider investing something they hadn't heard of, as opposed to CoinMarketCap, which is great, but it only really gives you price information and not much else. And then the third suggestion was to have a yield hodling bonus. So maybe you've experienced this, but some people before AMAs, they expect big news to come out, and so they take their CHSB out of the yield program, just in case the price pumps, and then they might want to sell it. Now, fortunately, most of our users in the CHSB yield program do hold their tokens there. In fact, we have 46,000 people who have put CHSB in the yield program and have never withdrawn them, which is, yep, absolutely. It's an incredible sign of loyalty. The problem is they are getting the same yield as everyone else. They're getting the same yield as everyone who maybe takes their tokens out before a powwow, hoping that the price will go up and they can dump some tokens. So the purpose of this initiative is to reward the people who keep supporting SwissBorg and keep believing in CHSB and keeping their tokens in the yield program by giving them a higher yield. So these were the 3 final initiatives which we put to the National Council for voting. The CHSB yield bonus was by and large the winner. So that is actually on the SwissBorg roadmap now, and it's something we're going to be implementing hopefully in the next couple of quarters.
Quick.
And it's NFT time.
Get your phones out.
Get your phones ready.
Get ready to go.
Where's my phone?
Yeah, where's my phone actually? Yeah. Should we do a countdown or?
Are we going to do a countdown? Okay, are you everyone ready? In 5. Who's switching the slide? 4.
4.
3.
3. 2. 1.
Whoever gets the gold, I want to know.
Nice. Okay.
Are we going to call it? Did we give them enough time?
Yeah, I think you said 5 seconds earlier. That was more than 5 seconds.
Yeah, I think we're good. All right, next slide.
Which one is the top one?
The red one's the normal one. Yeah,
I got the red one.
See, there's this gold one with like 1.93% probability.
Did someone get the gold one here or not? Did anyone get the gold one?
Did anyone get gold?
No. That will be worth $1 million, guys.
Okay, moving on. Product roadmap.
Is that for me? Yeah. That is for me. Great. Maybe I should do the. I'll be better with this one. Okay, product roadmap. I think so. A lot of you guys are waiting for what's going to happen on the SwissBorg Wealth app. Well, like always, a lot of stuff. So August, you guys know what happened. There was a lot of great things going on. Next two slides. September has been Manix, URT, BFX Smart Engine, the BAT, and Curve. Sorry, guys. So I know you're all excited about the engine. Me too, but exactly. Now Q4, guys. Okay, so what's going to happen in Q4? We have a lot of things planned for Q4. We have more and more smarter people that are joining SwissBorg on a daily basis, which this is really amazing. So obviously, there are going to be a lot of new tokens. We're thinking about new tokens as well. When we look at new tokens, we try to play themes, right? We played in 2020, 2021, it was a lot about DeFi, and we wanted to bring some things, and we thought like engine token would be great, and different fan tokens with Chilis. And I think so going forward, what we're really trying to think is what is going to be the next big top 50s, right? So looking into maybe smaller tokens that have a much higher risk, obviously, to go up or down. But we think that could maybe be a very interesting story is how we could bring really these very micro caps or those nano caps, whatever you want to call them, into the system, which have probably, again, just to make it clear, a different risk, liquidity risk, most probably the fact that, it could go from 10% to 90% up and within, a few days and could lose that the day after. But I think so there's going to be something very interesting. Pour tous les francophones, obviously this is the big thing. We're going to translate the app in French. And what we always have to think about at SwissBorg, it takes a shitload of time to build a store like a floor, right? So to build up vertically takes a lot of time for whatever reason. But to build horizontally, so then just bring on different windows, it's very much easy, right? It's much easier than to build a new floor because the logic is already there. So pretty much as soon as we get the French version, we'll then be able to do other versions as well in different languages, which I think so is one of the biggest barrier we have from a lot of different communities so far. We have the CHSB Yield 2.0. I think so Alex will give a great explanation of how that's happening. We'll have obviously more yields with different tokens as always. And I think so something that's going to be very, very interesting is how we're going to portray a new marketplace. Because now when you go on the Wealth app, it's great. You could buy, sell, yield in a very, very fast way, in a very simple way that your father, you saying earlier, was 82 years old, and he's probably yodeling and doing a lot of cool stuff on it, which is amazing. But I think so what we need as well to the discovery phase to make it even better, to really make sure that people are investing into different opportunities, different ideas, and different teams, and really feel that this is the right play for them. So the idea is obviously Q4, it's not going to transform the entire marketplace as you see it, but more and more is how to dig into something that really matches your investment criteria, your philosophical as well, and understand it. Next, there's a big amount of crazy stuff that's happening in the next future, which is, closing the Genesis Premium. Sorry about that, but if people still want it, it's still on the shelf for some time, not too long. We're going to have more tokens, more yields, proof of stake protocols. That's something that's very important that we're going to bring in. And that's thanks to the integration that we have, for example, we're implementing with Fireblocks. That's something that's really cool about it. We're going to have a lot of different ways to yield. We're talking about, yodeling with different DeFi protocols, but we're going to be bringing this to another value to really, again, make sure that you understand what you're doing in the best way. Staking, last but not least, thematics, we'll talk about it a little bit right after. And obviously, there's the IFO that is waiting. And for all the Germans and the Swiss Germans, we'll have a version as well. So that's really cool. Thank you.
So DOT is coming extremely, extremely soon. We are at SwissBorg. Some of us are already testing it on our Wealth app at the moment. So it is extremely soon. This is a kind of side effect of our recent migration to Fireblocks. There will be a whole lot of new tokens from other blockchains from now that are going to be listed. So be prepared.
Yeah. Woo! Another very exciting news as well is, as you know, most of our community is European, actually. And even though the yield, I think, for European-based user has been pretty good because you had to transform your euro for USD, and actually USD had done pretty good against euro. But anyway, we live in a world where, I mean, beside UK, where in the European space, we use euro, and we are very excited that we are going to list, I think next week, EuroT. It's one of the extensions as well of being partners now with Bitfinex, and that's their token. And we are going to release smart yield capacity that you can earn on your EuroT some yield. So that's going to be a major improvement, I think, as well of the smart yield, because we get more and more into the European sphere, and it's one of our biggest ambition is to become the platform by default of European people.
All right, so the CHSB Yield 2.0. This is something that has been debated quite a lot. And a lot of people are wondering, like, how can this Yield 2.0 mechanism work for me? How can it work for the actual token? And it's quite easy, actually. I don't know if any of you, do you guys watch the powwow on YouTube? Anybody watching the powwows? Yeah.
Powwow, yo, yippee, yo, yippee,
yay! All right. So the CHB Yield 2.0 it's a mechanism that is based on the Gini coefficient, which is some sort of data set that has all the assets that are kind of spread out through different communities, different mechanisms and groups. And the idea behind it is kind of like going when you think about the tax layers, right? Like the wealthier tend to pay a higher tax, the people with less wealth, they pay less, et cetera, et cetera. So it's inspired kind of in a way that some societies already function as of today. But we also believe, based on multiple tests, going from conservative to more aggressive, and multiple simulations done by the way, a big shout out to Bastien who's out there, our chief data officer is really an incredible person. And we're very, very confident that this mechanism has a great potential of locking up more CHSB tokens. So let's go through the user experience. You're a new user, you just downloaded, maybe you got your father, your uncle, your sister, somebody to join the SwissBorg app, and they're thinking about buying CHSB tokens. They receive maybe hopefully some CHSB tokens from you for free, from scratching the ticket. And then after that, they're thinking, okay, the CHSB yield for a newcomer like me is a lot higher than other tokens. So they get a little bit excited. They're thinking, okay, you know what, I'm gonna buy a few more CHSB tokens because the yield seems extremely enticing. And then what happens next is they start realizing through a higher yield that, you know, actually going to community premium is not as hard as I thought it would be. And I can get there. And it will accelerate the mechanism so that they can quickly lock the tokens, remove them from the circulating supply, and creating less supply with increasing pressure and demand. So as simple as that, as we were talking about earlier, about decreasing the supply and decreasing the supply and increasing the demand. And then after that, once they go to the community accounts, they realize that they have yield boost and other benefits. And hopefully that going from community premium, they'll think, you know what, I actually want to save more. I want to earn more yield so I can go to Genesis Premium before it runs out. So it creates this whole mechanism. And on top of that, now we have the hold, which Jackie explained beautifully, the whole HODL bonus, right? Which is if you HODL, if you have the right behavior, you should be rewarded for having that behavior. These 46,000 people who've been HODLing. And then on the flip side, if people actually redeem a certain amount, they should pay some sort of tax or lose the potential HODL bonus so that people are rewarded for the right behavior. And this just adds an extra component on why the 2.0 is even more powerful than we can believe. How it will work. So have a look, guys, here, sorry. So the income here, you have an example of taxes that we were talking about earlier. So you can see people who earn less than £2,570 in the UK, they have lower tax rates, maybe even close to zero. And then people who earn over £150,000 in the UK, they have a tax rate of 45%. So it's very similar to the way society works as of today. But on top of that, with lots of testing with the actual data, for us to see that this is a type of behavior that our data analytics teams see happening eventually. And here we have multiple yield buckets. If you look at the table on the bottom and you look at the column on the left, so you have people from 0 to 1,000 CHSB tokens that usually have a standard rate of 15%. That is quite exciting. So even if they're not premium, they get 15%. What if they go community premium? All of a sudden, they're earning 23%. So they're thinking, wait a minute, I only need 2,000 tokens, and I can earn 23% on my first 1,000 CHSB, thanks to the new Yield 2.0 mechanism. And then if they go Genesis, obviously, if you guys are Genesis here, on your first 1,000 tokens, you're going to earn 30% in that specific yield bucket. Now, if we go down to the second yield bucket, we have from 1,000 to 10,000 tokens. For those who have up to 10,000 tokens, they go from 5% standard, 8% community, and then 10% Genesis. And you can see that the yield bucket is distributed in that fashion. Now, some of you here may have more than 1 million tokens. And you must be thinking, yeah, but if I calculate the total amount, maybe I'm going to be earning less than what I am with the Yield 1.0 mechanism. But the thing is, like, if we really think about the cycle, if we really think about all the tokens that'll get locked, really bringing the CHSB to be ultra scarce, then that will have an impact on the actual price of the token. And that's the reason why we believe that even for the biggest token holders, not only distributing this to encourage new people, but this will have a very positive cycle in terms of buying pressure.
Yes, Alex. Bring it on, bring it on.
And so let's look at the stages here. So you guys can see here stage 1 yield tiers. We have the displayed rate here. We have stage 2, we have the user interface. Stage 3, loyalty bonus, and then attract new holders. So is there something that you wanted to add, Jackie, on this specific part?
The main purpose of this slide is just to communicate how it's rolling out. So we have a very, very ambitious product team, and they really wanted to do everything at once. But when you try to do everything at once, it takes a very long time. So in order to get things rolled out more quickly, we wanted to implement the different yield tiers as soon as possible. And then the user interface will follow after it. And like Alex said, step 3 is going to be the loyalty bonus. And the end result is everyone's going to want CHSB.
Yes.
Awesome. So you guys kind of see how this ties in together with the Yield 2.0 and the HODL bonus, right? It's just kind of like the perfect fit when you think about it, because it really encourages positive behavior. And hopefully, as you guys see, we'll have this in Q4. So we cannot say when. Cyrus hates talking about the whens because you never know with engineering. But we're looking forward to having this feature released. And without further ado, Anthony, the king of DeFi and yields.
Okay, guys, so Cyrus just presented the new roadmap. So what we are going to do in the future, one of the biggest thing that we do right now is to refactor the smart yield. We've witnessed so many innovation in the DeFi in the past 9 months. I think we were one of the first to come up with this idea of smart yield. We've seen many other guys copying the same. And now we are refactoring the entire architecture, and we will come in the next quarter with amazing news about that. But that's at the research level for now. Part of this refactoring is to reconsider the value proposition of the smart yield and to adapt to the new evolution of the market as well. The market has changed drastically. And what we have decided to do, by the time we wait for the new smart yield to be designed and to be released in the app, is to readapt the current version of the smart yield with four principal innovation. The first one is, as you know, guys, one of the biggest ambition of the smart yield is to protect your wealth. So to be invested in the best risk-reward ratio. And what we've seen during the past 9 months is the risk-reward ratio of all the platform we used to invest in has changed dramatically. So as a result, what we have decided to do is to narrow down the number of platforms that the smart yield will be allowed to invest in order to be exclusively, let's say, investing into the most safe platform. And as a result, boosting the yield by 25% by getting the safety net static. So until now, we know that the yield that was paid off of the smart yield, 25%, was allocated to the safety net program. But because now we're switching platform and we're going to invest exclusively in platform that has the more safe, We do not see anymore the utility to keep feeding the safety net, because we've reached anyway a very sufficient amount in the safety net right now, taking into account the new risk of the platform will invest in the future through the Smart Yield program. And as a result, we want to give back the safety net performance back to the user, which in return will boost the yield by 25%. So from tomorrow, after the AMA, you will see in the platform every yield increase by 25%, and you will see the safety net that used to be fed every day become static, and we will keep this pocket as an insurance measure into the Smart Yield program. And the other news as well is by the end of the year, we are going to increase more and more the range of assets that will give you Smart Yield, and we are going to offer more and more high yield as well into the Smart Yield by listing more and more tokens that do offer with extra layer of security, very high yield. And I think that's it.
All right, so partnerships. So let's have a look together. Isn't this, the designs are, by the way, give it up, a heads up to our graphics team. Come on, guys, this is pretty crazy, right? Balash and Oscar, we love you guys. You're incredible, seriously incredible. So let's look at the updates. So some of you guys have been wondering what's happening with the IFO Launchpad, right? This is something that is taking time, but that we're planning and preparing really, really well. There's a really nice quote that says, failing to prepare is preparing to fail. And the preparation phase is really important because, as you guys know, if you've used Launchpads on Binance, there are some periods where during 4 months, there's nothing to farm. There are some actual inconsistencies, in the market. And so the idea here, guys, is the first partnership. We talked about them before, but they're called Occam Finance. They're actually based in Switzerland. Shout out to Mark Berger. And they have been doing an incredible job. And what's happening now with SwissBorg is that we are actually staking the OCC tokens. So what happens when you stake a huge amount of OCC tokens is that you get free airdrops of all the projects that you can see on the right. So SwissBorg is accumulating these tokens, getting lots of airdrops, which eventually we want to distribute to the community. And the way it will happen, it will sound like a stake drop rather than an airdrop, where just because you're staking Genesis Premium or Community Premium, you will receive the total amount through an airdrop rather than having to stake over a certain amount of time and pull out your funds. So it's called the stake drop. And we're hoping that among all the projects, all the airdrops, and all the tokens that we're earning in for the actual IFO, we put it eventually in the transparency report for you guys to see how the treasury is building up, so you can see all of the treasury that we're accumulating. And then hopefully among these projects, 1 or 2 will have exponential growth in terms of value, so that this basket grows for the community. And always make sure that we share it with you, and so that you can see the amazing progress that we have with Occam, which is really, it's going to be the default launchpad on Cardano. Charles Hoskinson has invested himself. They have IOHK, everyone backing them up. You can see Emergo there as well. And they're averaging right now at 3 to 4 IDOs a month, which means we're getting at least 3 to 4 of these airdrops, big airdrops with a significant amount of OCC tokens that we stake. Now, this is something that must be very interesting for you, so please pay attention to this. SwissBorg is trying to go one step further in terms of our partnership with Bitfinex. How can we make this partnership even more fruitful? This was not my idea. I wish I was that smart, but unfortunately it was from the guys behind me. But the idea here is very simple. We want to try to focus on a mission which is called the Hidden Gems mission. These are microcap tokens, which perhaps are undervalued, that we believe should try to list on the SwissBorg app before the big guys like Binance, Huobi, and all the other exchanges list them, because they only list very often, not only, but very often when a project's already quite high in market cap. And so you miss all that upside potential. Obviously, these are higher risk, but they're also, in terms of returns, much higher as well. And so the idea here is to work hand in hand with Bitfinex and do the due diligence for you guys. Not just analyze the token, the community, all the metrics you can find online, but actually jump on a call, talk to the co-founders, ask about their treasury, what is their burn rate, how far can they survive, when is a new utility, when is the beta version of their product coming out, and find all this information for you guys, pitch it to Bitfinex and say, hey guys, if you list this token on Bitfinex, then we can list it. So please do so. And we try to fast track that project to list on Bitfinex and not just Uniswap where you pay $300 fees to do one trade, right? And really get these accessible to all of you through this Hidden Gems mission, which is something that we really, really want to work on. And eventually, in the long run, it would be amazing in terms of branding. If we keep introducing like great projects, some will fail, some will do extremely well, which is just the way markets go. But what if one day, guys, everyone realizes SwissBorg is doing all the extra research, all the due diligence that I do not want to do because I want to go have a beer at a pub here in London with my friends. So that would be the goal behind that, to reduce the research time, and we take that on our shoulders and try to find projects which we believe have really great potential. And last but not least, this is exciting for SwissBorg Ventures. SwissBorg Ventures has only been available for the SB nations so far, right guys? And please take this with a grain of salt, but we're going to open step by step. We're trying to include more and more people to get access to these very, very exclusive deals. We actually have a beta version that's going to be coming up very soon. But the difference from what it was before is before SB Nation had access to these deals, but now we're going to open it up to more people. And we're going to have a scoring system which will tell me, okay, this gentleman here is a Genesis Premium. He's been hodling, he has this amount of tokens. He's been behaving this way. For those reasons, I want to give them access to a pre-seed deal that no one would have access to in the real world. So this is basically adding an extra utility to the SwissBorg token because there's going to be minimum criteria for people to participate. You can see here the goal is to have 500 community members on the largest deals and not just 15, 20 as we had before. But on top of that, you know, having an extra utility, because right now, other than Genesis Premium and yodeling, of course, what is that extra utility that can really satisfy people at the top to make sure that they enjoy and they can really see lots of value for their tokens? So very excited about that.
All right. Okay, this is one of the biggest steps, I think, so for mankind and as well for Borgers. I think so 5 years ago, again, we imagined the world where Swiss private banking would be legible to everyone. And more importantly, we thought that we all know pretty much what we believe in. We all know potentially as well what are the different sectors or what do you want to invest in, right? And very often people invest for profit, right? Then we invest for products, right? We say, oh, actually this product is getting better and better. I want the new version, right? And then eventually you connect to the third P, which is philosophy. I believe in this project. I believe in the team. I believe in the community. And I believe in the mission, which brings value to what I believe Earth should look like in a few years from now, right? And I think so that's most probably one of the most exciting parts. It's how we could potentially bring products where you don't need to know exactly what is the underlying you should pick. Is Dogecoin going to be the new best crypto of all time, or is it going to be Litecoin, right? Well, it's probably Litecoin is not going to be the best one, to be honest. But is it going to be XRP or is it going to be another one? You still want to know what is the cryptocurrency that's going to be paid on Mars, right? Or on these different planets. And I think so the theme is it's always how to gather many of these guys to actually bring a bundle together and make sure you're investing into that theme. So whatever that theme could be, is it the theme is green energy? Is that theme going to be proof of stake, right? You believe in proof of stake, but who's going to win? Is it going to be Solana? Is it going to be Ethereum 2.0? Is it going to be whatever? You don't know, but you're probably convinced that proof of stake is the right way to actually make blockchain, bring to mass adoption. And I think so that's the point, especially for your father that's 82 years old, right? He's probably telling you like, which button should I press? Where should I invest into, right? But when you're saying that, well, actually the theme, Dad, what is the theme you believe in? Do you believe in green mining? Do you believe in green tokens? Well, yes. Well, just buy that theme and that field will buy into different of these different cryptos and eventually recalibrate it, and you'll make a nice buck out of it, right? So that's really, I think, so what we've been talking for a very long time is the rationale of bringing and building the right products that could combine a basket of different cryptos that suits your theme. How do we look at this? We could look at it at a risk perspective. For example, here, we were talking about the starter pack. What is the starter pack? Essentially, it could be, you know, as you can see it here, it could be some SwissBorg tokens, obviously, because you want to start with that. You want to start as well with, you know, mother crypto, Bitcoin. You want to start with Ether. You want to start with maybe some USDC, and eventually maybe BNB. And that's a great way to build a portfolio that has a certain risk profile and could get you, you know, a great way to get into crypto, right? And probably people who have no clue what to buy, maybe this could be something that would be a great feast. Just thinking here, in this room, who do you think that this would be a great starter pack or not? Just raise your hand. Yeah, pretty much everyone, you see? I'm not saying this is, by the way, is going to be exactly the theme we're going to launch at first, but we're definitely going to launch something that's going to be quite similar to this, and the composition could obviously change. That's why we said subject to change and potential composition. Thank you very much. Now looking into, you know, more of this looks very financial, and because this is a starter pack. But I think so what we have to understand again, it's maybe that as well gives you a better experience. Because if you say like, okay, I want to go into crypto, for what reason? Because I believe in the profit. Usually that's what you do first, right? Then you do in the product, and then eventually you go into the philosophy. And I hope many here are into the philosophy and understand that. And I'm pretty sure you guys do. You see though, that you could fucking have a drawdown of 50%. That's a lot of stressy gray hair you could get for people who don't understand that. If you get into crypto, I always, yeah, or you could lose all your hair. That's true, right? You could understand that. Like a lot of people who bought maybe the SwissBorg token, you know, at $1.50, or got the Genesis Premium, are like fucking pissed, or like, oh man, I just got divided by 2. I paid 50 quid, and now it's, or $50,000, now it's 25,000. But then, you know, in the long run, you see that it doesn't really matter, that drop of 50%, because you see that there's all-time high happens most of the time, especially with great projects. And I think so this at least is a decent way to give exposure to people within just one click, because that at the end is the wealth app. You do everything within one click with a nice interface, right? And how you get then to something that provides you a very good experience of, again, combining different crypto based on a theme that suits your caliber. So I hope you guys are excited about this, because probably this is the most freaking awesome, actually, product that has ever reached to the markets yet. I mean, no one has actually been able to build this. This is not a fun, guys, just to make this thing clear. This will buy all the different underlines on the different exchanges at the best price, like always. Then go in to feed your wallet directly. And you, again, will be master of those different wallets. So this is something that we've been working now for 3 years. It takes time. But as you guys know, like always, when we build one floor, then it's very easy then to actually scale and bring a lot of different windows into those doors. So I hope you're super freaking excited, because that is probably the best thing's going to happen in the next couple of months. Thank you. Just maybe a question from the public. Does someone want to ask a question? So when is the Genesis Premium coming to end? That's the question someone asked me at the office 2 days ago. Not 2 days ago, last week, sorry. And I said soon. And yeah, but soon, pretty soon. We do believe that Genesis Premium was something, and I really want to thank everyone here who got to be Genesis Premium. It's something that we, you know, rather you bought Genesis Premium in the beginning, you bought it in March. I think so this is something that has to be engaged with how we are the only community, or one of the rare communities that will be on the long run. Crypto, and not that I've been since 2010, but using crypto is a very like, I get in and get out, and do another shit. I get in and get out and do another shit. And even the biggest guys, I mean, besides Vitalik, Hat off to this guy. He's the most hardcore, probably, guy that stick to Ethereum. All the guys will only do that. And I think so that's the main difference with us at SwissBorg and the Genesis Premium, is people commit for a year, and then after they say like, no, let's not commit maybe for potentially for life, and maybe I'll give my Genesis Premium to my children, right? And I think so that's what the Genesis Premium is about, and how we connect to our communities, how we really profoundly build this loyalness to it, and when we'll keep it, I'm not too sure how long, but then we'll have other, obviously, premiums, as now it's quite easy to build different premium sets. And last time Anthony was talking about this, is like, maybe going forward, we'll just do like premiums on just some tokens or some services. We'll try to bring in this digital ID where you could just get maybe some features at a certain stake, or just if you buy it. So let's say you're a fan of, I don't know, only one token. Maybe we'll just set up like on Uniswap, one token. We'll just say, okay, on that you could like have super high yield, and at the same time you could have maybe very low fees, and that'll just be one. We're not too sure, but we're still witnessing different thoughts. Matt, do you want to come up on this, or?
Yeah, I think what we try to do as well with the NFTs, what we've seen during this year is the benefit of having NFTs, and the beauty of being able to have benefits and transfer, and having this portability of the benefit, and eventually maybe transfer this benefit to someone else. What I do see as well is a bit the same phenomenon, and 4 years ago with ICO, and people release a bunch of NFT, and they say, oh, you're gonna have a sword in this game, or you're gonna have this superpower in this game, and then they release these promises, and most probably, like most of the ICO in 2017, they will never really come up with something with these promises, because you can promise a lot and sell the hype, but then it's all about building. And I guess we're very, very interesting. It's a major topic at the growth level and at a product level, is what to do with NFT. But we don't want to rush into a solution and then being stuck with something that we don't know really. We promise something and we don't know how to somehow create the entire game. And I'm pretty confident that in the next few months, we're going to come up with a very elegant and long-lasting solution. But it takes, workshop and brainstorming. And that's why we don't want to rush too much, but we understand how we can bring the membership at SwissBorg level to the next level, reward the people that have been loyal so far with Genesis Premium and Community Premium, and start a new type of premium that, as you say, will be more dynamic, maybe every month, a limited amount of premium that will get a specific range of benefit and give the premium access to the people that have been loyal since the beginning, as we did when we released the Wealth app with the ICO members.
I think so. We're running a little bit out of time,
so
no, we have a count. So I really want to thank all of you guys for making it tonight. It was really cool. Thank you for watching it here as well. Pour les francophones, demain, on aura donc du coup notre AMA en français qui sera très cool. Donc s'il vous plaît, regardez-le, vous allez avoir plein de nouvelles surprises. Et en plus, cette fois, ça sera avec des slides un peu plus différents. Et il y aura plein de speakers nouveaux aussi que vous allez rencontrer. Sorry, that's for people who don't understand that. Long story short, guys, as always, be healthy, be wealthy, love our CHSB. And if we could go, if I say Swiss, you say Borg, Swiss, Borg. Swiss, Borg. Come on, go a little bit louder. Swiss, Borg. Yeah, baby. Thank you very much, guys.